I will begin with reading the book of Obadiah. The vision of Obadiah, this is what the Lord, Yahweh, says about Edom. We have heard news from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the nations, saying, "Arise, let's rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made you small among the nations. You are greatly despised. The pride of your heart has deceived you. You who dwell in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, who says in his heart, who will bring me down to the ground? Though you mount on high as the eagle, and though your nest is set among the stars, I will bring you down from there, says Yahweh. If thieves came to you, if robbers by night, oh, what disaster awaits you. Wouldn't they only steal until they had enough? If grape pickers came to you, wouldn't they leave some gleaning grapes? How Esau will be ransacked, how his hidden treasures are sought out. All the men of your alliance have brought you on your way, even to the border. The men who were at peace with you have deceived you and have prevailed against you. Friends who eat your bread lay a snare under you. There is no understanding in him. Won't I in that day, says Yahweh, destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mountains of Esau? Your mighty men, Teman, will be dismayed, to the end that everyone may be cut off from the mountain of Esau by slaughter. For the violence done to your brother Jacob, shame will cover you, and you will be cut off forever. In that day you stood on the other side, and in the day that strangers carried away his substance and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots for Jerusalem. Even you were like one of them. But don't look down on your brother in the day of his disaster, and don't rejoice over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Don't speak proudly in the day of distress. Don't enter into their gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Don't look down on their affliction in the day of their calamity, neither seize their wealth on the day of their calamity. Don't stand in the crossroads to cut off those of his who escape. Don't deliver up those of his who remain in the day of distress. For the day of Yahweh is near, all nations. As you have done, it will be done to you. Your deeds will return upon your own head. For as you have drunk on my holy mountain, so all the nations will drink continually. Yes, they will drink, swallow down, and will be as though they had not been. But in Mount Zion, there will be those who escape, and it will be holy. The house of Jacob will possess their possession. The house of Jacob will be a fire, the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for a stubble. They will burn among them and devour them. There will not be any remaining in the house of Esau. Indeed, Yahweh has spoken. Those of the south will possess the mountain of Esau, and those of the lowland, the Philistines, they will possess the land of Ephraim and the field of Samaria. Benjamin will possess Gilead. The captives of this army of the children of Israel, who are among the Canaanites, will possess even to Zarephath, and the captives of Jerusalem, who are in Zaharad, will possess the cities of Nig. Saviors will go up on Mount Zion to judge the mountains of Esau, and the kingdom will be Yahweh. I've read the entire book of Obadiah. Now we go on to the first 4 chapters in the book of Jonah. And now Yahweh, word came to Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and preach against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee to Tarshish from the presence of Yahweh. He went down to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish. So as he paid his fare and went down into it to go with them to Tarshish from the presence of Yahweh. But Yahweh sent out a great wind on the sea, and there was a mighty storm on the sea, so that the ship was likely to break up. Then the mariners were afraid, and every man cried to his God. They threw the cargo that was in the ship into the sea to lighten the ship. But Jonah had gone down into the innermost parts of the ship, and he was laying down and was fast asleep. So the shipmaster came to him and said to him, What do you mean, sleeper? Arise, call on your God. Maybe your God will notice us, so that we will not perish. They all said to each other, Come, let's cast lots, that we may know who is responsible for this evil that is on us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. Then they asked him, Tell us, please, for whose cause this evil is on us? What is your occupation? Where do you come from? What is your country? Of what people are you? And he said to them, I am a Hebrew, and I fear Yahweh, the God of heaven, who has made the sea and the dry land. Then the men were exceedingly afraid and said to him, What have you done? For the men knew that he was fleeing from the presence of Yahweh, because he had told them. Then they said to him, What shall we do to you, that the sea may be calm to us? For the sea grew more and more stormy. He said to them, Take me up, throw me into the sea. Then the sea will be calm for you. For I know that because of me, this great storm is on you. Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to get them back to the land, but they could not, for the sea grew more and more stormy against them. Therefore they cried to Yahweh and said, We beg you, Yahweh, we beg you, don't let us die for this man's life. Don't lay on us innocent blood. For you, Yahweh, have done as it has pleased you. So they took Jonah and threw him into the sea, and the sea ceased its raging. Then the men feared Yahweh exceedingly, and they offered a sacrifice to Yahweh and made vows. Yahweh prepared a huge fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Then Jonah prayed to Yahweh his God out of the fish's belly. He said, I called because of my affliction. To Yahweh he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, you heard my voice, for you threw me into the depths, into the hearts of the sea. The flood was all around me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. I said, I have been banished from your sight, yet I will look again toward your holy temple. The waters surrounded me, even to the soul. The deep was around me. The weeds were wrapped around my head. I went down to the bottom of the mountain, and the earth barred me in forever. Yet you have brought my life up from the pit, Yahweh my God. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered Yahweh. My prayer came in to you into your holy temple. Those who regard vain idols forsake their own mercy. But I will sacrifice to you with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that which I have vowed. Salvation belongs to Yahweh. Then Yahweh spoke to the fish, and it vomited out Jonah on the dry land. Yahweh, words came to Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and preach to it the message that I give you. So I, Jonah, arose and went to Nineveh, according to Yahweh's word. Now Nineveh was an exceedingly great city, 3 days' journey across. Jonah began to enter to the city, a day's journey, and he cried out and said, In 40 days Nineveh will be overthrown. The people of Nineveh believed God, and they proclaimed a fast and put on sackcloth from their greatest even to their least. The news reached the king of Nineveh, and he arose from his throne and took off his royal robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. He made a proclamation and published throughout Nineveh, by the decree of the king and his nobles, saying, Let neither man, nor animal, herd, nor flock taste anything. Let them not feed nor drink water. Let them be covered with sackcloth, both man and animal. Let them cry mightily to God. Yes, let them return every one from his evil way and from the violence that's in his hand. Who knows whether God will not turn and relent and turn away from his fierce anger so that we might not perish. God saw their works, and they turned from their evil way. God relented of the disaster which he said he would do to them, and he didn't do it. But it displeased Jonah exceedingly. He was angry. He prayed to Yahweh and said, Please, Yahweh, wasn't this what I said when I was still in my own country? Therefore I hurried to flee to Tarshish, for I knew that you are a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger, abundant in loving kindness, and you relent of doing harm. Therefore now, Yahweh, take, I beg you, my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live. Yahweh said, Is it right for you to be angry? Then Jonah went out of the city and sat on the east side of the city, and there made himself a booth and sat under it in the shade until he might see what would become of the city. Yahweh, God, prepared a vine and made it to come over Jonah, that it might be a shade over his head to deliver him from discomfort. So Jonah was exceedingly glad because of the vine. But God prepared a worm at dawn the next day, and it chewed on the vine so that it withered. When the sun arose, God prepared a sultry east wind, and the sun beat on Jonah's head, so that he was faint and requested for himself that he might die. He said, "It is better for me to die than to live." God said to Jonah, "Is it right for you to be angry about the vine?" He said, "I am right to be angry even to death." Yahweh said, "You have been concerned for the vine, for which you have not labored, neither made it grow, which came out up in the night and perished, came up in the night and perished in the night. Shouldn't I be concerned for Nineveh, that great city, in which are more than 120,000 persons who can't discern between their right hand and their left, and also many animals?" May God bless you. Hope that you are blessed by the word that was presented to you today. God bless you.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God cover to cover in a year. I'm your host, Summer Day, and with me in the studio is Mr. Vernal Simms. Dun, 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 dun. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Ta-da, you made it.
I made it.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I made it.
I am very excited to interview you. Because
I'm glad to be
pretty
here.
much I don't know really anything
Right.
about you other than two things. One, you're my daughter's 5th grade teacher.
That's right.
Two, were a Pentecostal preacher.
That's right.
And when I found that out, when I met you on Parent Day, I said, "I have a TV show I might want you to be on.
Yeah.
Would you read all the names in Chronicles?" And you said, "Sure." I said, "Come on down." And that's about all I know. What made you say yes to this project?
Because I thought it was interesting, and I think that people need to begin to read the Word. And I think that the Word is what, in this day and time, is what will sustain us.
Yeah.
And so not having the Word, the Bible reminds us that we ought to hide the Word in our hearts. And I think that it's an excellent project, and I'm praying that it'll catch on fire, that people will understand, especially Christians. Mm-hmm. Just because you go to church, how many of them honestly have a devotional life or even read the Bible on a consistent, regular basis?
Yeah. There's a term I learned recently. It's called playing church.
Mm-hmm. That's
how many
absolutely.
people out there just playing
Absolutely.
church? They're checking the box.
Absolutely.
They're not actually in His Word.
Absolutely. But when they get in trouble, they don't have anything to sustain them. Mm-hmm. They don't have anything to keep them steady. They don't have anything to keep them from going off the deep end.
Yeah. Well, besides being my daughter's fabulous 5th grade teacher, which I think this is your first year doing this?
My first year, I moved here 2 years ago.
Where'd you move here from?
I moved here from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Did you move here to teach?
No, I moved here to marry my wife.
Oh, are you a newlywed?
Yes, going on 3 years now.
Too cute. Wait, I did the math there. So did you get married before you moved here?
No, I got married a few months after I moved.
So
we were planning the wedding.
Oh,
long distance. And then I moved here about 2 months before.
Was that your first time being married?
No, my second. My wife died. And
how long were you married before?
40-something years.
Wow. You were married a long time. And then you were a widow. Did you ever think you were going to find love again?
Nope, I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't even thinking about it.
And what's your wife's name now?
Vanessa.
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 Beautiful. I want to meet her. Do you have kids?
Yes.
They're probably grown now.
Yes.
Any grandkids?
Yes. I have a whole lot of grandkids.
A whole lot of grandkids.
Whole lot of grandkids.
I love it. And tell us about your life before teaching 5th grade. What were you doing?
I was a pastor, full-time pastor, and bishop in Pennsylvania.
How long did you do that for?
I did that for 15 years.
Nice. What was your favorite thing about doing that?
I think my favorite thing about doing it was being able to change the life of children, being able to help them to grow and to be.
Amen. Amen. I love that. Okay, you got to come in here and film some episodes today with us. Tell me about what it was like doing that, filming today.
It was wonderful being able to come in and read and study the Word.
I heard you from the other room. You were kind of fiery.
Yeah. Well, you can't help it. I'm a Pentecostal preacher.
Why do you think it's important for people to be a part of this global Bible revival?
Because I think that people need to learn the Word and to really take the Word to heart in this day and time. That's the only thing that's going to sustain us.
Yeah, come on.
As men and women of God.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to sustain us.
Well, you've been around a little bit longer than me, and it does seem like the world might be getting worse.
Yeah, and I think it is getting worse. I think it is getting worse. And I think that we need to we need to
be armed with the Word and ready.
be armed with the Word, especially the people of God, because so many things happen. When you look around every day, I heard a preacher not too long ago talk about that how that there are things in the Bible that we never thought would happen.
Oh, yeah.
Mothers against daughters, daughters against mothers, the whole thing. We never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
But now,
World's a whole new place.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a whole new place.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. You have any plans to go back to ever being a pastor again?
I'm thinking about it. I'm praying about it.
Yeah.
That's something that because my wife is also in ministry,
Nice.
so that that help. I'm really thinking about it.
Yeah. What do you miss most about being behind a pulpit?
Impacting the life of people.
Yeah.
I don't miss the problems with the building.
Right?
I don't miss the fundraising,
Yeah.
having to keep the bills going. But I think that impacting the life of people is really what's important.
Yeah. I love it. One of my favorite questions to ask everybody who comes
Okay.
on the show is to take me through your journey with the Lord.
Okay.
Starting from, when you were young, were you raised in the church?
I was raised in the church.
Pentecostal church?
Raised in Pentecostal church. My mother says that I was. Her testimony is that I went to. I was very sickly.
Okay.
Had asthma.
Wow.
And as a result of having asthma, in and out of the hospital and all that.
Yeah.
And she said that if she promised the Lord that if he would save me, that she would give me back to him. Wow. And so she did that. She had to tell, maybe my other brothers and sisters that to go and sit down, don't make no noise in church. And she never had to tell me that. What she had to tell me was, don't jump up and run up on the pulpit and grab the mic.
Come on. And how old were you then?
Probably about 5 or 6.
Now, if she had to warn you of that, is that because you did that?
That's because I did that. I don't care what was, I don't care.
I want to hear all about that, but we're going to take a break really quick.
All right.
So we'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll hear about you grabbing the
All right.
microphone on the
Okay.
pulpit right after this.
All right.
Hello, my friend. We are back with Vernal Simms, and you were telling us about how when you were a boy, 5, 6 years old, your mom was like, "Don't run up and grab the mic," because you did.
And
Tell me that story.
I would grab the mic. I would go up and grab it. I would, I would grab the mic and, do all that.
Would you start preaching?
I'd start preaching. I'd start singing.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
but I think that the Lord had, there was a call on my life. I think from birth, there was a real call on my life to do ministry. And so at the age of 11, I preached my trial sermon. And where Jesus told Nicodemus, "You must be born again."
Wow.
And
Where did you preach this trial sermon?
at our little storefront church in Boston.
Wow.
At our little
So they
storefront-
officially gave you the mic.
Yes. Officially, yes.
Nice.
I think because, people recognized that there was a calling on my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
Now, your mom's prayers and everything, did your asthma get better? Did you keep having it?
my asthma, by the time I got to be about 14, my asthma was gone.
Wow. So I had severe asthma. I was raced to the hospital when I was 2, wasn't breathing good. And then they found out I had asthma.
Same thing with me.
And I had it my whole life until I was 24.
Yep, until I was about 14, 15. Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. Preaching at 11.
Preaching
and then
at
were you
11.
a great kid your whole life?
No, I wasn't necessarily a great kid. I was a typical. One of the things that I appreciate about my mother was the fact that I was that she raised me to be a normal kid. And I say this all the time. She raised me to be a normal kid.
Tell me more. What does that mean?
That just because I was a boy preacher, she didn't treat me any different than she treated my brothers or sisters. Mm-hmm. If we got into trouble, we got a whooping. Mm-hmm. And she, many other Pentecostal people were against music, but she bought us records. I mean, I had a different kind of mother who realized that we although, I was a boy preacher, but I was still a young man growing up. And her philosophy was she did not want me to be introduced to things in the street.
Okay. That
when I could come home and play my records.
Yeah.
And dance.
Yeah.
So I was not raised up in that severely strict Pentecostal, environment.
Yeah. What do you think that did for you?
I think that made me a well-rounded person. That made me really able to really meet.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.